while the $9.5 billion contract for the new Columbia-class ballistic missile submarine program was just announced. They're already way ahead of the game here at EB in Groton, putting in over 2 million man-hours.
We've already worked about 2 million man-hours on the Columbia program.
And some differences between the Columbia-class and the Virginia-class fast attack subs that are currently being built at EB.
Fast attacks the submarines are designed to be quick and stealthy and provide that punching power tactically.
Whereas the Columbia-class is designed to protect the nuclear arsenal.
Our Columbia-class will annihilate a foe who initiates nuclear warfare against us.
Blumenthal says this $9.5 billion deal is just the beginning.
They will arguably be the two most technologically complex machines that have ever been built.
We're at a point right now where it's over 80% design completion, which again breaks all records in terms of other Navy shipbuilding programs going back decades.
The press conference today was staged at the site of the future South Yard Assembly Building, scheduled for completion in 3 years.
About a 200,000 square foot facility that will form the support structure that will actually assemble and test the Columbia.
The first of the Columbia-class subs scheduled to be completed in 2027. The second, 2 years later.
Our organization is 17,000 today. It will become 20,000 by the time 2030 rolls around.
Between now and the end of the 2030s, it's expected some 30 subs between the Virginia and Columbia classes will be completed here in Groton. I'm Tony Terzi, Fox 61 News.